Hello, this is Margarita Monet from Edge of Paradise, and you are listening to the Metal Pit Podcast.
Welcome to the Metal Pit Podcast, where we delve deep into the albums and bands that shaped metal. Please visit us on our website at www.themetalpit.org, where you can find album reviews, interviews, and live show reviews, and much more. Also, follow us on our socials, Facebook and Instagram at The Metal Pit. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com at the Metal Pit 666 for some videos. And we have one video album review even now, too. And hopefully we'll have more in the future. I am your host, Blake, and I have with me two of my writers from the Metal Pit website tonight. I have Kenneth. How are you doing today, Kenneth?
I'm good, sir. How about yourself?
Just good, or great, or fine. And we have Jimmy. How are you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing awesome. This is fun. What a topic tonight.
Absolutely.
Yes, and as I get my notes ready, sorry, I just screwed that up. Okay, this is our second episode of October and our second Halloween horror-related episode, since all our episodes in October are going to be like horror Halloween related, unlike other albums that are also horror related. It's just that we're doing this in October. So there's no Def Leppard albums in October, or so far ever on the site, but there might be one day. Who knows? So coming up after this episode, we will have episodes on a Deicide album, and we'll be finishing off the month of October with Halloween and the Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1, as we've already did Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2. And then on Halloween night, which is a Tuesday night, instead of our usual Wednesday releases of podcast, on Halloween night, so on the Tuesday, we're going to release a special episode, which is going to be the top 50 metal albums of all time, as chosen by the writers at the Metal Pit, as I still have a few lists to get from people, and we're going to do that on our anniversary of the website, our 3rd-year anniversary, and that's what's happening on Halloween evening. Now, tonight's episode is a very Halloween horror-related album, but it's probably by a band not a lot of people know. And the band is called F.K.U. And I am going to, since I know this album pretty good, but I don't really know a lot about the band. And Ken, who runs a horror/heavy metal website himself, I thought, you can do the bio because you probably know them a lot better than me. So Ken, you want to maybe talk about your website first and then maybe give a bio of this band?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I run Horror Metal Sounds. I've had this site up since 2014. So that was not long after I had departed from the Metal Pit because I was one of the earlier writers on the site. We do cover horror, we cover metal, we cover like horror comic books. We cover everything that's related to the topic of horror and heavy metal. We are kind of going through a little bit of a design change on the site, so we're just doing relaunching it. I guess like the site is still here. If you go to horrormetalsounds.com, you can still find us up. But we are going through a bit of a change on the site just to streamline a few things and give it a kind of a spiffy sort of new look, which will be debuting closer to Halloween. So that's what I do. Sorry, what else did you want me to mention? So the bio. Of the
now
band,
you can do the bio of the band.
Okay, so we're talking about Freddy Krueger's underwear. So I know F.K.U, but this is what the band is based on. They formed originally back in 1987, but they did quit in '88. So there are two original band members from that first incarnation of the band. The band was revived in 1997. And at this time, Pete Splat on bass and Pete Stool on guitar both sort of returned to the new lineup. And in this new lineup, we have on drums Unspeakable Imp, and of course, the great Lethal Larry on vocals. So the band has 5 albums to date. The first album came out in 1997. Of course, tonight we are talking about the album from 2017, 1981. And of course, it's a very significant album only because of the fact that 1981 is the birth of the slasher film, where a lot of great slasher films came out that year. And we're going to be talking about that tonight. I just wanted a quick mention though, with this band Lethal Larry, who I love the guy's title is Nom de Plume. He's in another band also, which I've mentioned to Blake before, called Darkane, which is a mellow death thrash band from Sweden. They've been around basically the same time as F.K.U. A great band. If you're into mellow death, check out their first album, Rusted Angel, which came out the same year as Metal Moshing Mad for F.K.U. So it's just a little. So he's in two different bands. It's kind of a fascinating fellow. His real name is Lawrence McRory, which is not really metal sounding at all. But yeah, if you're interested, check that band out, Rusted Angel, their first album. Oh my God, it's killer album. Yeah, so they've been around since like 1997, and yeah, that's the band in a nutshell.
Okay, that's good. Now, since you just did a lot of talking, I'm going to usually I ask when everybody first heard the group, but I'm going to go first this time, which I don't think I ever do. So I first heard about this band was I bought the horror movie magazine from Canada called Rue Morgue magazine, which is, I don't know, it's the only horror magazine that I ever buy, I think, in years. I know there's other good ones, but it's a pretty good one. And they always have album reviews in it. And so the last album reviews are always the heavy metal albums. And of course, they're always horror related. And that's where I discovered this album because I saw it in there. I don't remember. They gave it 4 out of 5 skulls or whatever the hell it is they do. But I thought, I'm going to check this out to see if I like it. And I played it and I loved it. And I still listen to it regularly. Now, I did listen to their other, I briefly listened to 2 of their other albums, probably the most recent ones, but I just didn't get into them as much as I did this album. I don't know, maybe just the horror movie titles that we get in this one made me like it better. I don't know, but maybe I just didn't give time to the other ones, so I'll have to check them out sometime. Now, well, Ken, when did you first hear them then?
Actually, back in 1997 is when I first heard them. So they did get some coverage back in Fangoria magazine. And I used to be a writer with Fangoria. So that's where I first heard them. So I've been following them basically from the beginning. And that's how I know about Darkane, because that's the other band that he fronts. So I've actually been following the careers of both bands really from the start.
And Jimmy, how many years ago did you first discover this band?
Well, I think I'm out of the 3 of us, I'm definitely an F.K.U. virgin. So, I got to admit, 3 days ago, I listened to this album. I have listened to one other album, but this album's really, really cool. And I mean, it blew, I've listened to it 3 times in the last 3 days, and it's I've put it on I'm going to buy it. I'm buying it on CD. It's that good. But it's pretty cool. So I've only listened to it for 3 days. So I'm sort of that virgin on prom night here in 1981. Slasher movies. It's great. I mean, it's right up my alley for sure. But I got to admit, I'm kind of embarrassed. I never knew about them. And to hear it, I was like, wow, how the hell have I missed this? But just never came across it in my, in my archival life of heavy metal. So anyways, but it's awesome to be here because I love learning new stuff like this and listening to new stuff. It's awesome.
Yes, I thought we would try something a little different since we're not doing like a classic band like Black Sabbath or Iron Maiden or Metallica. We're doing something a little obscure here for Halloween. And so I asked Jim, have you ever heard of this band before? And he said, no. And I said, okay, well, don't listen to them or don't read anything about them until right before the podcast. So we can get some of his initial thoughts on something he knew nothing about.
Nice.
And that was hard, Blake. That was hard because I'm sitting there going like, he's dangling a band name in front of me and I didn't even check it out. I swear. And I'm sitting there going like, I got to check this out, but I just wouldn't. I could hear Blake in the background going, no. So anyway.
Well, I didn't even realize this Freddy Krueger's underwear thing, or I would have told you that was the band name. Then you couldn't find them anyway. Right? Well, I guess you might have found them if you put it on Google, but whatever. Okay, so we're gonna get to the album here. And the first song, oh, actually, I was going to say something about the album cover. What do you guys think of the album cover? I don't think we usually talk about the album cover, do we? But I like the album cover. So, what do you guys think of the album cover?
I like the album cover. It very much fits the theme of like by using a VHS tape, which was the big thing back in the 80s for all us older dudes. So yeah, I like the album cover. I think it's a nice little touch to the VHS era of horror, because 1981 is a big year for VHS tapes. So yeah, I think it's a great cover.
And Jim, do you have any comments?
Oh, it looks straight out of it looks like an amalgamation of every kind of horror slasher flick that, you used to walk into the video store and they'd have the horror section off to the side there. And I know me and my friends would always look at the most kind of brutalized one. And it's funny because when I was yesterday, when I was researching this album and then some of the names of the songs, I came across an article on like 2020 or something that was from like 1984, 1983. And it was how slasher films are changing and just, disrupting our youth's mind and stuff. And it was really cool. And some of these were on there. And I was like, I think I just kind of cross-referenced them by accident. But I watched the little article of the old news article. It was pretty cool. But yeah, the cover just says it all right there. I mean, and you know what? I hear there's kind of a resurgence, and maybe you guys can speak of it, but I think like people are searching out trying to find VHS players and are getting into rebuying VHS tapes.
Yeah, there's collectors. Yeah, there are a lot of collectors. Yeah. If you go on Facebook, there's a group here, the Canadian Horror Collective, where they basically, a lot of people buy VHS tapes. So yeah, there's it's never stopped people, but there's a large contingent of people buying VHS tapes for old horror movies.
Cool. I like on the cover how it's got that circle and it says "Please rewind," like it used to have when you rented your VHS tapes, and even at the bottom it says an original soundtrack. So it looks like it could definitely be a movie cover for a movie from 1981 for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we'll get to the songs, and now I'm going to say one thing here before we start. Is I ragged on the Slayer album Rain and Blood because the songs are so short. So I'm going to be a hypocrite here because we got a lot of fucking short songs. But I like these ones. But anyway, so the first song is the title track 1981, and I'm going to let Jim talk about this song first. No, sorry, Ken. I wanted Ken to talk about it first.
All right. Perfect. So 1981, the song itself is just basically their ode to the slasher film. So it just basically sums up the idea of what came out in 81 for horror films. So yeah, it's a ripper. It starts roaring at the gate for me. The lyrics are basically about slashing, knives, people getting cut, killed, slashed. It's got it all in the song to start us off, and it's a great pacer for me to open the album.
And Jim, now remember, I told you to write down your initial thoughts when you first listened to it. So what did you think when you first started this song, being not knowing anything about the group?
Well, I listened to it on like on a streaming service, so I was able to listen to it and see the lyrics at the same time. So the first thing is I love the music. The musicianship of it is wicked. I mean, it gave me the first thing I thought of was an Anthraxy, DRI mix thrash sound. I love it with a little bit of a punk vibe. But I got to be honest, some of the lyrics in here are just gold. I mean, watching horny teens meet at an early grave. We're going to go back to the early age of slashers. It's time to capture the feeling we all crave. I mean, this is what it's all about. Back then, renting these movies and then taking them home with your friends and watching just the kind of, there's another part in here watching the bodies pile up. I mean, this is just gold. I love it. And, it's from I think it was definitely from an era that, us being a little bit older, loved it. We saw the VHS, the VCR, Betamax all come in together, and we had that whole even before Blockbuster, when you went to the local video store and could get all these awesome classics that were just slasher kind of B movies. And that song just tells the story of that. And it's really, really cool. And reading the lyrics, it's 100% right. So, I love it.
Yeah.
I like the line, young horny teens versus really sharp knives. That's good. Yes.
Yep.
Now this song, I will mention, this is the longest song on the album. This really drags on. This is 3.5 minutes long. So yeah, this definitely drags on, that song. But anyway, then we go to track number 2, which is, do we have this right? Yes, Nightmares in a Damaged Brain. I thought I didn't look this up. Okay, Jim, I'll let you talk first.
Yeah, so I've seen the cover for this for the actual movie. So, and then it took me a while to realize that these were all actual movies that were released in 1981. So, as Ken explained earlier on, I didn't get that obviously right away, as I only knew maybe a handful of these. So, but no, it got me to go check out kind of some of the album covers. I remember some of them now that I've seen them, and I've probably seen some of the movies, so it's pretty cool. But this is another great song. I can't really speak. I don't remember the movie, so but it's obviously it's somebody, I think, escaping from what I can see and going on obviously a killing spree, and obviously his name is George. So that's as far as I can figure out from the lyrics that I see. So.
Now, I couldn't even I looked on imdb.com for the first time, or any of these podcasts where I'm looking up movies because of this album, and I couldn't even find this one, no. But so, Ken, what do you think of the song? And maybe you know more information about the movie than I could find.
Yeah, the movie's from a obscure, very, very obscure foreign film. And I think what Jim said is perfect, that George gets his brain messed up and George goes on a killing spree. And he basically stalks everyone in his path. So yeah, that's basic. It's a basic song, but it's the kind of movie that fits 1981. So when it came out at that time, but the song is good too. I do like the song. There isn't really much to say in terms of a lot of the structures of the songs. They're all short, fast rippers. They don't let up. Lethal Larry is amazing as a vocalist. I love his vocals on this song especially. But yeah, it's a killer tune for like a few minutes, 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, so this is a hard album to really talk about the music because it's just full speed all the time. There's no ballads in here.
Yeah.
I think it slows down for one part of one song, which we'll get to later when we get to that. So then we go to Hell Night, which of course is a movie from 1981. Yep. And I know Linda Blair starred into this one, and of course she's from oh my god, I forget the name, Omen, right? That movie, is that right? Do we have the right movie, Ken? Linda Blair was in Omen? Yes, okay.
No, Exorcist, Blake.
Exorcist, sorry.
She was
That's her claim to fame.
So, Ken, you can start on Hell Night.
Yeah, Hell Night I've seen when it came out. I rented it. I was like 12 years old when this movie came out, but I loved it. I loved it. And it's like basically 4 college pledges who have to spend a night in a haunted mansion, and they end up getting stalked by one of the mansion's former residents. And it's a standard kind of, chase the girls around the dark, a lot of jump scares, people getting killed and stalked. Yeah, it's a great movie for the time. I love the title. When I first saw Hell Night, I was like, oh, so great. And that cover on that for the movie is fantastic. I love the girls standing behind the gated or iron fence. So great.
Yeah.
So great song.
And Jim?
Oh yeah, it starts off. This is like right up my alley. Here I was 11 or 12, like Ed, and this would have been the one that I picked based on the cover. But it starts off as a part of an old initiation rite. 4 pledges must spend the night in a house with terrifying legacy. A father killed his whole family, and then it's the same sort of great recipe of splitting up and stuff in the house. So of course, the outcome is pretty bloody.
Absolutely.
But great song, and again another fast one. But no, I think it's a great thrashy song, and yeah, this movie, I think I've seen due to I saw the cover, and I do think I've seen this masterpiece.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, we were talking before we started here. I'm not sure how many of these movies I've seen for sure. I don't think I've seen Hell Night, but I would probably have to go back and watch some of these to see if I actually have seen them before.
I think you can watch it on YouTube, Blake. It's actually on YouTube. If I'm
Yeah,
not
they
mistaken.
probably. I assume probably most of them are, right? Probably.
They're not all, but there's a
Maybe not.
handful.
Yeah. Okay, then we go to one of my favorite songs on the album, even though I just said that all the songs sound pretty similar, but there's still a couple that stand out to me, maybe from his vocals, because he does say some great lines, just the way he sings them. And so I love Corpse Mania is like one of my favorite songs. And I let Jim, what do you think of fucking Corpse Mania?
Oh, this one's fast and heavy, and it talks about necrophilia. And I don't know, I couldn't find this movie, or even I've never seen it or never even heard of it. But it's kind of freaky, because they have one of the lyrics in here is stare into the dead eyes. He feels paralyzed, then he starts to undress. So I was like, okay, where is this going? So I mean, I'm definitely going to check this one out. But yeah, this one's probably in my top three. Along with Blake loves this one. It's in my top three for sure. This is a ripper of a song.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
Yeah, so basically this is a Hong Kong film. That's probably one of the reasons why you haven't been able to find it. It's an obscure Hong Kong film. It is considered Hong Kong giallo. So if you know anything about Italian giallo films, where it's a certain very formula and style and substance, this is like the Hong Kong version of it. It's a very obscure film. It's pretty good. Basically, it's about this necrophiliac killer who basically is haunting people down at a brothel, and it's a Madame Lan's brothel. So lots of blood, lots of gore. I've seen this film before. It's a lot of fun. If you enjoy the Italian versions of giallo films, this is a film that you would probably enjoy. I know I enjoyed it for the time when I saw it.
Well, the tagline for the movie is "When life ends, the terror begins." Which they could probably all say that, couldn't they? Every movie that's on this album. Yes, I did find it on IMDb, but yes, I didn't know what country, I didn't research it enough, but Ken filled us in. So then we go to, now this movie, everybody must have seen this movie, Friday the 13th Part 2.
Absolutely.
And we will start with Ken.
Yeah, this is a classic. What can I say? It's the first introduction to Jason, although mind you, he doesn't have the hockey mask, but he's wearing the sack over his head, with that one little eye peeping out. But yeah, this is a great film, great song. What I like about this song is I like Lethal Larry's. I love the lyrics, and I just love how he just spits it out with that venom. Wow, it's so great. And it's for me, it's this is a great movie, one of my favorites. And this is a great song as well.
Jim.
Yeah, I love Friday the 13th, the whole the whole catalog of the movies, but I like them in the sack head, because the goalie mask is wicked, it's iconic, but there's something to say about having a one-eyed sack on your head for sure. But I mean, this is my favorite on the album. I mean, musically, again, very similar but awesome, but you can't beat these lyrics. I mean, he goes through these spitting out, not only like he's going through 1 all the way to I think like 8 or 9 or 10 to past 10, and he's going through how every victim in the movie was killed. And I think that, how can you beat that? I mean, that is amazing. And so this is my favorite song. I love it. I mean, it's heavy, but I mean, I love the how it breaks down the lyrics, and it's just so cool, because I'm reading it and I'm thinking in my mind playing the movie, and I'm like, hey, right. Oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah. So it's pretty cool. I think that's genius. It's genius.
Every song scene, except of course the first one, like we mentioned, sounds like a horror movie review kind of in the song lyrics in a way, except this one is giving everything away, telling, like you said, how everybody gets killed. But I didn't realize that till tonight because I would listen to the album. I wouldn't really read the lyrics, but I would hear words. But it didn't really clue into me till I was reading the lyrics tonight to see what I wanted to talk about. And I go, yeah, he's telling everybody how each person is killed. And I love the way he sings the title of the song, Friday the 13th Part 2, just the way he does it is just,
Yeah.
I love that. And this is another one of my favorites on the album. And then we go, now this movie, The Burning, I might have seen this. It really sounds familiar, but I don't know if I just saw a documentary on it or what. But Jim, what do you think of The Burning?
Oh, I mean, this is just cool. I'm not familiar with the movie, but again, like musically, again, I'm gonna say like pretty much every song on this album musically is super right up my alley with that thrash, hard sound. But I mean, it's the lyrics that just are awesome. I mean, obviously, this is about camping, having a nice camp, and then something going horribly wrong. But I love it. Happy young campers, soon to be dead, ripe for the slaughter that lies ahead. I think this is awesome. And again, with his voice singing this is great. And I mean, again, it's genius. You're taking the synopsis of the movie and you're putting it to music and putting it to lyrics. And these make an absolute killer song. I mean, the idea is already there. You just have to come up with the lyrics for it, and it's phenomenal. I think it's great. And this is another one. This is in my top half of the album as well. It's a great song, and I like camping. Always get scared when I'm camping because, of course, I've seen so many horror flicks about camping, going wrong with a murderer running loose. I mean, Friday the 13th. So, it's just it really plays on those fears for sure.
And Ken?
Yeah, this movie is The Burning is a great film, only because of the fact that the killer, who's known as the Cropsey Maniac, his MO is that he holds on to a pair of shears, and so he's got them above his head, and he's got them open up wide, and he just slams down his victims with it. Killer stuff. So the concept of this film basically is that he was a caretaker at a camp. This is going in the past. A bunch of kids pull the prank, and during the prank, he ends up his face gets all burnt up. So he's disfigured. And his goal is to basically, as a slasher killer, to come back to the camp. It's sort of like similar to Jason in some ways, and basically just decimate anyone and everyone in his path. So it's a great film. The makeup is great. The disfigurement is awesome, but there's a lot of if you Google it, there's a lot of iconic scenes that you'll see him holding up the shears open in his hands above his head. Fantastic. What a great killer.
When I first listened to this album or whatever, and he growls The Burning, the vocalist there, so I forget the name. Larry, right? You're saying?
Larry, yeah.
And I'll be like, what's he saying there? And I'm thinking he's not saying The Burning, but then you listen to it, Mark. Oh, he is saying The Burning. He's just growling it so much. I thought he was saying Gorgoth or something like that. The way he's saying it. I'm going, oh wait, he is saying The Burning.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we get to The Funhouse. Now, this should be on an Annihilator album or something, I think. Or there probably is a song called The Funhouse on an Annihilator album. But we'll let Jim talk first. Ken talk first on this one.
All right, thanks. So yeah, this is a very famous movie. It's one of my favorite horror films of '81. It is Tobe Hooper. Now, Tobe Hooper is the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This film it gets a lot of there's a lot of chatter with the critics. Some people like it, some people don't. When it came out, there were a lot of mixed reviews. And the other thing about this film that I love is that the makeup effects is by Rick Baker. Now, Rick did a really good job creating this kind of split face creature, which is based on deformed babies. So he did a lot of research and created this incredible creature in the movie. Now, it's standard stock and sash. So basically, you get these kids staying at a carnival overnight, and of course, the killer is there along with his dad, and he basically dispatches all four of them as the movie goes on. Really creepy movie. Some of the best makeup I've seen in a film. for the song, they did a nice job with this song. This song I actually really like. Also because I like the movie. But the song is great. It's short, it's fast, it rips, it doesn't stop, it doesn't let up, and Larry's vocals on this are fantastic. I love this song.
And I was going to say, oh, this is the one I was going to say. It has a little slower intro to the song.
Yeah.
Then it does pick up later, and it's like 2 minutes long. So it's another really long one. Jim, what do you think of that one? This one?
Well, I looked it up and I see that it's got multiple covers on the movie, and there's one of a clown and a Jack in the Box. Ken, is that the one?
Yeah, that's the more notable one.
Because I'm scared to death of clowns, so I don't even know if I would watch this. I hate clowns. I hate even scary clowns. I mean, all clowns are scary, but this, I think, judging by the cover of the movie, I don't know if I'd even watch it. But it's a great song, and I saw some of the pictures, some of the clips of the movie, and yes, I saw that sort of deformed thing in there, and it was I can imagine it's pretty creepy. But the only clown movie I ever really, I mean, I'm going off on a movie here, but would be Killer Clowns, because it was more of a parody, and I love that movie. I actually own it. But yeah, clowns, no, especially serious aggressive clowns, I'm not into that at all. But the song is great.
It's funny, Jim, because today I went to Spirit Halloween store today, and I bought a doormat with Killer Clowns from Outer Space on it.
Nice.
Cool.
And a door cover thing, which is also Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I also bought 2 glasses that were Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So it's like, are you stalking my house or what? I don't know what you're doing, but you got that. And yeah, I love that movie too. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Somebody needs to make a song about the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I like the line in the song where it says, "You pay to get in, and then you pray to get out." That's a good one.
Yeah.
Then we go to The House by the Cemetery, and Jim can start with this one.
This one's a good one. I mean, it again, like I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen the movie, but I'm kind of getting the feeling of like and I didn't even actually, I didn't find this one when I was looking it up. So I'm getting the feeling it's kind of a bit of maybe a mad scientist type situation. But I mean, the song is wicked, and it's because there's a lot of story. There's Dr. Freudenstein's back for more, sadistic experiments galore. So I'm gonna hand this. I'm dying to find out what the movie's like there, Ken.
Sure. All right. So it's an Italian slasher film. It is by Lucio Fulci. So this is one of his great films for the time. Now I'll tell you what the film's about, Jim. So this woman inherits a mansion in Louisiana. She goes there with her family, and what happens is she finds out that basically the house is on top of the gate that opens to hell, or one of the portals that opens to hell. So the whole film is just nothing but degradation. It's like everyone spirals into madness. There's just a lot of crazy gore scenes. So it's absolutely insane. Now you referenced the Dr. Freudenstein. I believe, from my understanding, a lot of the like independent or foreign releases had different titles. So I think it might have been one of those titles on one of the other prints. But this film has been, every time it gets kind of released, like it's cut in a different way, or they cut out scenes and then it's retitled. And I believe that's what you might be referring to. But this is a classic film. This is, if you're into Italian splatter films, this is the one to watch.
I looked up a quote from the movie. Now, I haven't seen the movie, but I just thought this was funny, so I made a note of it. And it says, Anne, who is the babysitter, is kneeling on the floor, mopping up a huge pool of blood. And Lucy Boyle, who maybe is the owner, is this right?
Yep.
Of the house?
That's
she
right.
asks her, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I made coffee." I don't know what that has to do with cleaning up spilt blood, but I hope there's no spilt blood in with the coffee. I'm not really sure what that is, but I just thought it was funny, so I made a note of it. Okay, then we go to, well, we just had a song about being right by a cemetery. Now we have Burial Ground. And Jim, I'll let Jim go first.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. I actually looked this one up and came across the movie poster that's got a huge skull on it. I would assume, judging by the little tagline on the movie and the lyrics, it's obviously about zombies.
Yeah.
So as a zombie attack. So no, I mean this is probably my third. Like I've got three top songs on here. This would be my third one. This is a wicked song. And and I think when it's got in the chorus there, when the moon turns red, the dead shall rise. I believe that's even the tagline on the movie poster. So I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool when I saw that. The night of terror is upon us all at the burial ground. So, but yeah, this is a great. I mean, zombies are awesome. This is a great song, and one of my top ones on the album.
And Ken?
Yeah, this is definitely another classic Italian splatter film, a burial ground, filled with lots of zombies, lots of gore, lots of ooze. If you don't have a strong stomach, I wouldn't suggest watching it. It's probably equally as powerful as you for as like House on the Left. Lucy, yeah, Falsey, similar to it's not directed by Falsey, but it's very much in the same kind of style and vein. So the song itself for this is great. I do love the fact that it's, another song about an Italian splatter flick, which is great because you don't really get that much in metal these days. Like you'll not to this kind of degree. Yeah, it's a great song as well.
This song does slow down kind of in the middle and gets a little doomy for a short period of time, but when the songs
Oh.
are under 3 minutes, you don't really have much
Yeah.
time to
No.
And I wrote a quote from this movie down too, where the character says, "Mother, this cloth smells of death."
Great. That's a great line.
Now I'm not sure
yeah.
what maybe she was cleaning up some blood too. I'm not sure with that
Some
cloth.
coffee.
Then we go to the song called "The Prowler," and I'll let Ken go first.
All right, this is a great film. I love this film. I have a copy of it. I watch it every year. It's noted for a couple things. It's noted for Tom Savini visual effects. There is one scene where a knife is thrust into the head of a victim. It's fantastic. Savini's talked about this scene forever, and it's great. The film itself, though, it's basically about a World War II slasher or he's dressed up in a World War II outfit, and basically he comes back to stalk this graduation party. Great film, very atmospheric, lots of gore, lots of guts, and if you're into Tom Savini, this is the film that sort of kind of launched his career, which is what I like. And the song, I think they did a really nice job here with the song as well. Again, short, sharp bursts. It's all talking about the prowling, about World War II. They get all that in there. So yeah, it's another great song.
And Jim?
Yeah, this is a cool one, and I remember. I think I've actually seen this one. I think on the cover it had like a guy dressed as obviously an army personnel with carrying off a girl,
Yeah,
and yeah, okay. And I think I
yeah, you
remember
got it.
seeing this one, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, this one was really good. I mean, this was a great movie. The song's awesome. I mean, yeah, again, very bursty, like Ken says. But I mean, I love the lyric. Among the living, they shall come, messengers of death, worms and scum. And I believe. Like he's gone to terrorize this party. I think he's avenging something. I can't totally remember, but it's a great movie and a great song too, for sure.
And I just have a note about them. I don't know. We're not supposed to be talking about movies, but we are talking about the movies. But I read that the cemetery scenes were, now I haven't seen the movie, but Ken has, so, and Jim might have. So the cemetery scenes were shot at an actual cemetery on Halloween night in 1980. And the open grave used in the film was an actual open grave awaiting a funeral. I don't know if they got permission to do that or not.
No, they did not, but they got black for that. But a lot of these films, you're doing it at night. Nobody's around. Who's gonna know? So yeah.
Yeah, there was no cameras everywhere like there is now. Then we go to the Beyond, and I'm gonna let Ken. I should have let Ken go first on every one, so he could tell us about the movie first. So I'll let Ken go first.
All right, so this is pretty much I guess this is the quintessential Italian splatter film by Lucio Fulci. Now, The Beyond, it's a lot similar to House by the Cemetery, but what I like about this film is that it's again a woman. She inherited a mansion. This is also in Louisiana, and what happens is she finds out here as well that the house is basically. I think this is part of a trilogy of films with the similar concept. That again, she's on top of the gates of hell. A lot of Falsi's films are very similar in style and tone, so it's a lot of gore. It's a lot of excessive violence. I like this film as well. It's a pretty strong film for me. But when it comes to Falsey, if you know anything about his work, a lot of his films are very much in the same tone and style. The song is great. I thought they did a really nice job with this song as well. I love Lethal Larry. He's the best. He's just spitting out these lyrics, and it's just insane for a couple of minutes.
And Jim.
Yeah, this is cool, and you're right. Larry he just goes for it on this. I no idea about the movie. Couldn't I think there was a trailer I watched, but I just couldn't really make heads or tails of what really was going on. But I mean, obviously, I got from the lyrics and that there's a gateway to hell. But I mean, I love like the lyric, a hotel that's built on a gateway to hell to a world of fury. She doesn't know about the secrets below. That's wicked. I mean, obviously, I think there's a theme here that don't inherit a house or hotel in Louisiana. Because I'm telling you, if I have a relative who says, hey, Jimmy, you've just inherited a place in Louisiana, I'm just putting it up for sale. I'm calling Century 21. That's going up for sale. I'm sorry.
Just pass, Jim, and move on.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. I was just going to say we've learned on this episode to not accept a house or a hotel in an inheritance. Yes, we should just pass it on. And we should also not have graduation parties or, well, whatever.
or sex or anything related to fun.
But I guess we already knew that probably from watching any horror movie. Okay. Then we go to Halloween 2. I guess I can let Jim start with this one because I think everybody knows Halloween 2, just like everybody knows Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, this probably is one of my favorites on the album too, because I know the movie so well. So obviously there's that attachment there. But I love he tells the story of the movie and the song and just rips it up. I mean, Dr. Loomis, 2 steps behind with Michael Myers always in his mind. I mean, it's wicked, and it's a great. I love it how he's got, the band has got these more obscure films. I mean, yes, I know in 1981 there was a lot of slasher obscure films, but also gives homage to a lot of the sort of the bigger budget, more known films as well. And they tell the story really, really great. So that's awesome. I love it.
And Ken.
Yeah, Jim pretty much said it all with this one. I mean, it's Halloween 2. Who hasn't seen Halloween 2? The night he came back. Great. Yeah. It's a great film. And again, the song is perfect. I love the lyrics. I love the fact that they grab all the kills and throw it into the lyrics. It's fantastic. It's a great song overall.
And they also meant in the lyrics, they say it's the best sequel the world's ever seen. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, or if you agree.
That's debatable. I wouldn't say it's the best sequel.
I think I was going to add, this question just popped into my head. I'm going to ask it right now. Who do you like better, Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers? Who's your favorite?
Oh, Freddy for me.
Jim?
I got to go with, I'm going with Jason. I mean, I like original sack Jason to goalie Jason. I love every incarnation. I love Jason when he was in Manhattan. I love Jason when he was in space. He's been everywhere. And he teamed up with, Freddy. So awesome.
That's a great movie.
What about you? Yeah. What about you, Blake?
Yeah, Jason is also my favorite because I was just going to say, I even though I've probably seen the Halloween movies, it was like I felt like I had to pick my favorite, and Jason's my favorite. So I like those movies better than the Halloween movies for some reason. And so that's why the question just popped into my head that I'll just throw that out at you. And that song is only 1 minute and 42 seconds long. You think they could have dealt more time for a classic since they really love the movie, it seems. But anyway, then we go to the song Night School. And we're going to let Ken go again on this one.
Yeah, Night School is from a very obscure horror movie about a killer who decides to decapitate his victims. So he picks a very popular kind of boarding school for girls and just basically dispatches each one by just chopping off their heads. It's not a very well known film. Not I don't believe there's anyone famous in it, from my understanding. I've seen it a couple times. It's okay. I thought the song was okay though. I thought they did a fair representation of the song or the movie and the song itself. So yeah, this is okay for me. Anyways, it was simple, basic, stock and slash.
Jim.
Oh, I love the chorus. I mean, A is for apple, B is for bed, C is for co-ed, D is for dead, and F is for failing to keep your head. And then there's another lyric in here, and maybe Ken can tell us about it, but or a turtle being fed your disembodied head ends up in a fish tank. Now that's no fun. I mean, this is gold. I mean, obviously there's a head, a fish tank, and a turtle. That's how can you beat that?
There are a couple of scenes in the movie that refer to that. I think that so they basically took it right from scenes from the movie,
nice,
which is kind of cool. Yeah,
I want to see this. I want to see this now.
Yeah, it's okay. It's very it's kind of low grade. It's not very well known. So I think that's one of the reasons why we're like, what? Night School? What is this?
It sounds like it should be more well known. The name sounds like a movie that somebody else would have made, and like Night School. I don't know why, but maybe I'm thinking of Summer School.
That's right.
Yeah, Summer School.
Anyway, and there's the part that I like in the middle with the drums. They don't really stand out that much. I mean, even though the drums are great in the whole album, but it's just that they kind of get their own little part to go there in the middle. So I finally have something about music to mention, but it's just more moshing madness. Every song is like
pretty much, yeah.
Still waiting for a ballad to come. But anyway, now we go on to MS 45. I think I'm doing that right.
It's Miss 45. This is
Miss 45.
Yeah, Miss 45.
Ken. Yeah.
This is Abel Ferreira's Miss 45. Now he's an exploitation filmmaker, so he filmed a lot of his movies in New York. So they're very gritty, they're very grimy, they're kind of in the style of films like Taxi Driver, stuff of that nature. So basically the premise, I'll just give you the premise since I'm familiar with the movie. It's about this mute girl. She gets gang raped by these dudes in New York, and she decides to go on a killing spree. So she becomes, or she in essence takes up the essence of the angel of death, and she just basically dispatches all these dudes in New York City at night. It's grimy. There's a lot of dirty. I mean, this is shot in 81, so you can imagine what New York was like back in 1981, where there's a lot of grime. The streets were filled with trash. So it's a great film. The song is great. I like the song as well. It's again, they just continue along with a nasty kind of rhythm to it, and it just goes for a couple of minutes. Yeah, and it's fantastic. I think it's a great way to close the album out.
And Jim.
Yeah, I know this is a great song. Musically, I like it. Again, very similar to the rest of the album, but I know reading it, I didn't even know about this movie, but I kind of got the feeling, judging by the lyrics, that I like the lyric, hear them beg and cry, no man will survive, a revenge in overdrive, Miss 45. So I was getting kind of the visual that obviously, because in the first part it talks about that she was violated and abused, all men accused. So it's probably I kind of got the gist of the whole thing, but it's cool. I mean, it is a great way to end off the album, and a great song. I like it, and the movie. I think I love Taxi Driver and the grimy, dirty New York kind of scene and that. So this is probably pretty cool.
You should watch it, Jim. I think you'll like this movie. Abel Ferreira is a very interesting filmmaker for his time. When he was making movies, you should check it out.
Cool.
And so that would be the album, but we're not going to stop there because there was a bonus track. Now, I only listened to it on Spotify, so I'm assuming the bonus track like, I don't know if you order the album, if you get the bonus track too. So I don't know. But anyway, the bonus track is called Evil Dead, which of course is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, at least in my eyes. So Ken, what do you want to say about Evil Dead, the song
Um,
or movie?
well, everyone knows Evil Dead, Sam Raimi. It's a gore. It's a classic. It may be the best film of 1981 when it came out. At least I saw it on video. I saw it on VHS when it came out. And at 12 years old, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, just it's an experience. That's all I'll say about it. The song though is really good. It may be the best. I think this might be the best song on the album for me. I like the gang chorus. I like the chorus. The gang shouts. They did a really nice job with the Evil Dead and just hitting that home. It's a really good song. Kind of short, but it gets to the point pretty quickly.
And Jim.
And wasn't this, from what I saw, it was written by Chuck from Death, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty cool that there was a collaboration there for sure. But yeah, this is, I mean, what a great bonus. You're going to save, like Ken said, probably one of the best horror film of 1981, and probably in the top 10 or top 5 of all the 1980s. I mean, this is a wicked movie, and I love the song. I think the song's great, and it's just an awesome way to throw a bonus on there. I love bonus tracks, and I believe it is on the CD, because I'm going to probably order it. And but no, I listen. It's awesome. I love it.
Cool. And yes, and I love the movie Evil Dead. And yes, it's one of my favorite songs on the album too. I'm calling it on the album because since it was there, I didn't probably even notice that it said bonus track until this week when we were getting ready for the podcast. So let's rate the album. Jim, what are you giving this out of 10?
Okay, so two things. I'm gonna I have two ratings. Number one, musically, lyrically, this album is a 9.8 out of 10 for me. Just that I only started listening to it, and I don't know any. Like I'm just this album off. As I go through all my ratings, I'm giving it a 9.5. 9.5.
Okay, Ken.
It's 10 for me. 10 all the way. Because I know the movies. I like how they homaged and referenced the movies, and I like how they did a really nice job of, cherry picking lyrics from or scenes from the movies and just putting in the lyrics. So it's a 10 for me. Actually,
studying the lyrics more to prepare for this podcast maybe made me appreciate the album even more, because before I would just listen to it and it's not like the 80s when you'd buy a vinyl album and sit down, read the lyrics. You're listening to stuff on your phone maybe, or in your car or whatever. So but I appreciate it more, and I'm giving it a 10 too, because I love every song. Like there isn't one song where I would like skip it when I'm listening to it, because it's awesome. And again, in general, it's hard to, like, every song is just moshing, madness, thrash, fast. Like there's a couple slowdowns, but barely anything. And you probably don't want them to date your teenage daughters.
You know what, Blake? You know what? I mean, I always talk about bloat on albums. This has 14 tracks, nice and fast, and the 15th track is a bonus. I mean, it doesn't even feel like there's 15 tracks on this. It's so quick and grabs you by the throat. I mean, it's awesome. So I love the fact they went this long, like had this many different tracks on it. It really creates kind of a treat for the listener, because you can go through so many different types of movies. It's cool.
And I think that's why I like every song is they all stay the same, but it's so maybe they're not too original. They're not changing it up. This isn't no Dream Theater where every song's different, but so you can have 15 songs, and as long as you don't get bored of hearing just riffing, it's still good.
Yeah, this is their best album. It's their best album.
That's what I did check out some other sites and how they rated them, and some of them they rated this one lower than the other ones. But just from what I said earlier, this is the one that really got me, and I never really got into the other ones I listened to, but I should probably give them more of a chance. Now, usually I will ask everybody about seeing them live, but none of us have seen them live, so we can skip that part.
Yeah.
I even I looked at that Setlist FM website. but the most songs it said they played live was 15. So I'm pretty sure that's wrong. So I thought I'm not even going to bother with that information because
Oh, weird.
obviously, unless they
Okay.
never tour or something, but I'm sure
Well,
they've
they are touring now. They're actually on tour in Europe.
So yeah, they've obviously played more than 15 songs live, I would
Sure.
imagine.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now for our top 10 list of this episode, I decided that we should go since we're in the Halloween month here. So I thought let's do something kind of Halloweenish. So we're gonna do our top 10 songs with the word hell in the title. And I am going to let Jim go first.
Awesome. Well, I think mine's. I'm disappointed with my list, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So, I start off on number 10. This is my Blake pick. I'm going with "Highway to Hell" AC/DC. I know this is. I think it's his favorite AC/DC album from us talking. I think so. Is it, Blake?
Let me think here. I like Highway to Hell a lot. I like everyone with Bon Scott. I don't know if I
Yeah.
could really say that which one is my favorite. Actually, Let There Be Rock might be my favorite if I had to pick one. But yes, I love Highway to Hell too.
This is my homage to Blake, so I threw that on there, and it's a wicked song, and it is my favorite AC/DC song album. So number 9, I went with "Accept Heaven Is Hell" from Russian Roulette. That's one of my favorite Accept albums, probably my second favorite, and I love it. Number 8, from Killing Machine, Judas Priest, Hellbent for Leather. Number 7, Born to Raise Hell, Motorhead from Bastards. I mean, I love that song. That's a wicked song. Number 6, Megadeth, Go to Hell. Wicked song. Number 5, huge Pantera fan. So I went with Cowboys from Hell. I love that song. Love that album. Love Pantera. Number 4, Slayer, Hell Awaits. Slayer. What can you say? It's Slayer. Number 3, Heaven and Hell from Sabbath. Hey, why not? There's hell in there, so that's wicked. Number 2 is Welcome to Hell from Venom, from the album Welcome to Hell. But I mean, I could have easily put 2 or 3 in there of the Venom. But that would be my Stacia pick because she's such a huge Venom fan.
Yes.
And then my first one, which I love this song, is Welcome Princess of Hell, Merciful Fate from Don't Break the Oath. Love that.
Good choice.
Well, we matched a bunch, so I'm going to go next. I'm going to let Ken, since Ken did the bio, I'll let him go last. So
sure.
First, I'm going to mention 3 honorable mentions that aren't really heavy metal, I guess, even though I did say to these guys that doesn't have to be heavy metal, which is what I mean. I'll still call AC/DC heavy metal. They're in the roots of heavy metal. I know nowadays people would say no way, but I'm older, so I'm saying it. So anyway, I do have Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be is my AC/DC Hell song for an honorable mention. And then, of course, I have Meatloaf with Bat Out of Hell, because that's what I listened to before I got into metal, with stuff like that. And then the group Pretty Reckless. I love the Pretty Reckless. I know they're not metal, but they're close to it. And their song Going to Hell. And since she was Cindy Lou from the movie The Grinch Stole Christmas, and I love that she's a singer and she has great vocals, I think. So I love that song Going to Hell. Now, my top 10 list. Number 10, I got Accept Heaven Is Hell.
Nice.
Is that Udo's last album with Accept? Do you remember?
His last one. Then I believe he came back after the one there, the one right after it. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I love that song too. And it's mostly his voice there and talking at the end. I like that one. Number 9, I got Exodus with Cajun Hell.
Oh, good.
1989 Fabulous Disaster album. And number 8, I got Annihilator with Alice in Hell from their album Alice in Hell, also in 1989.
Yep, good choice.
Number 7, I got Lamb of God with Walk With Me in Hell from their 2006 album Sacrament. Number 6, I have Merciful Fate, Welcome Princess of Hell. Number 5, I have Venom, Welcome to Hell. Number 4, now this is probably the only group on my list that people will be like, What the hell? They have a song with the word hell in it, but I got Twisted Sister with Burning Hell. I
Oh,
love
Yeah,
good
that song.
song. Good song.
wicked
Good.
song.
Yeah.
And the black
Good
metal
choice.
band Demu Borger did a cover of it, and it's awesome also.
Yeah.
That's from their 84 Stay Hungry album. Everybody knows We're Not Gonna Take It and I Want to Rock, but Burning Hell featured the guy Pee Wee Herman was in the video, so that helps too, and he passed away recently. Number 3, I got Arch Enemy with First Day in Hell from their 2017 album Will to Power. I love
Cool.
that song. And number 2, I got Pantera with Cowboys from Hell. And my number 1 is Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell.
Nice.
So, Ken, let's hear your list.
All right. So number 10, Megadeth, Go to Hell from Hidden Treasures. That's a really, really good song. I put Deicide, In Hell I Burn from Legion, which is a great album. I love that song. At number 9. Number 8 is Entombed, so it's Full of Hell from Wolverine Blues. I love that song. One of my favorite Entombed albums. Then I have Anthrax, Earth on Hell from Worship Music, which I love that song too. I love the play of words.
Great
Earth
album.
Yeah, that's a great album. Return to Form album for them. Slayer, Hell Awaits. You can't get any better than that. Destruction, I have Bullets from Hell from the Antichrist. That's a great album. It's a return to form album for them, and that's a fantastic ripper of a song. And I also went with Sodom next with What Hell Can Create from Code Red, which is another Sodom album, a later album that I like from them. Then we have Mystic Prophecy in Hell, the song from Neverending. Great power metal. Love that band. Then we're going to number 2, which is Morbid Angel's Welcome to Hell from Abominations of Desolation. And I'm going to go with F.K.U, Motel Hell from Sometimes They Come Back to Mosh.
Right? Your list is a lot different than our list, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And so, oh, hell, we're done. Okay, sorry.
Yes, sir.
So that was good. I'm going to say one thing. So for people that have never heard this group, Freddy Krueger's Underwear, or F.K.U. would probably be the better way to look them up.
Yeah.
But if you like thrash, you like speed metal, you like it fast, make sure you go check this album out and probably check out the other albums too. But I just think it's a great album. And it's when I discovered it, I just loved it. Anybody have any final thoughts for me?
No, this is a great album. I'm glad we had a talk about it. I mean, I love thrash in general, but this is right up my alley because it's, two subject matters I love most, horror and metal. So thanks for doing it. I know we originally, when we talked about doing being on the podcast, we did bring this album up, and then of course you thought, well, we'll change it because no one may know about this band. So we ended up doing, Anthrax Among the Living. But I think by doing this podcast, people can go look them up now. They can go check out this band because they're worth it. And Jim loves it. And if Jim's really digging it, then I'm sure a lot of people are going to really dig it.
They should. A lot of people should dig it.
Yeah, good point. Like, I remember I only started listening to this 3 days ago, and now I'm ordering it. So and I'm going to be checking out the back catalog. So, I mean, it's a wicked, and it's like a diamond in the rough that you probably wouldn't normally come across, but wicked thrash album. Love it.
And you gave it a 9.8 or 9.5 or something like that.
Yeah, I know. Just because I probably don't know it. I haven't listened to it enough, or I haven't really delved into it. And
sometimes I'll ask people, so what would you rate it now? And then what would you rate it the first time you heard it? But since it was 3 days ago, I won't bother asking you that. Okay, so that's the end of our podcast. Thanks, guys, for joining me. And thanks, everybody, for listening. Make sure you check out our next week's episode, which will be on a Deicide album. I just don't know which one since I'm not going to be on that episode, but make sure you check it out. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.